Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of You, Me, and He. I am your host, Rob Lambert, and I'm joined by my co-hosts.
This is Josh Frankenstein.
This is Drew Carroll.
Oh, listen to you guys. Oh, Chippa.
The last conversation we had, I feel like, made us both feel a little weird.
Speaking of the last conversation we had, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/youmehepodcast. Tonight we talked about probably the most awkward 80s movie featuring Dennis Quaid and a pregnant alien. And
was it really
somehow,
the most awkward? I mean, there were a lot of awkward 80s movies.
All 80s movies.
And somehow just evolved into Brokeback Mountain. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, if you've seen Enemy Mine, you know how that happens.
You can draw the lines yourself. As always, thanks for listening and supporting the show. Make sure wherever you get your podcasts, you leave us a review there. It really helps out, and we appreciate it. And fellas, this week, I decided to take the family on a little bit of an outing. My wife had looked online and found this like amazing. Have you guys ever been to like a splash pad?
A what?
A splash pad. It's almost like a water park, you know, but it's like all of the stuff is built into the ground. So you got like fountains shooting out of the ground and like all the water features. It's like a water park.
They have those at the water park, right?
Yes. It's like a water park with no slides.
It also sounds like something I could easily set up in my backyard.
Sure. Yes.
Sprinklers.
My wife-
Sprinkler kids.
It's sprinklers on concrete.
It is essentially that. Yes. That is true. So my wife found this amazing splash pad that was like hidden, like in the most random area. We've driven by that place all the time.
Sounds like a
we just never noticed
thing, you know? Like something that you would find in a bathroom, a splash
bidet.
pad.
So I took my kids and we played in the bidet for a few hours. No, we took them to the splash pad and it was really awesome. But it was huge and there's tons of kids. And like when you're like a single person or like a married person with no kids, like you don't find yourself at a splash pad very often. But once you have kids, like it's a fun thing to do on a summer day. And I'm finding that when you go to a splash pad, maybe you can help me understand. There's just so many kids who are like standing over the jets and just like letting it shoot up into their junk. I don't get it. It's like, and they're just making eye contact with you and like looking at you. And this high pressurized stream is just shooting up into their shorts. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're in public. Like, what's the deal? Help me understand. How does this happen?
So, Rob, let me ask you this. Have you ever had a shower with a detachable head that had a long hose to it?
We bought one.
I don't like where this is going.
We bought one.
What's the first thing you did with it, Drew?
Chiseled away at the old backside.
It's like you having your own bidet is what you're saying.
Let me see if I can withstand this if it's on like the hardest setting possible.
It becomes like Fear Factor in your shower.
Your question has been answered.
If it wasn't weird, adults would be doing it too. But in public, that's weird.
But see, that's the thing. With kids, they have absolutely no filter.
None. And
So-
no care.
Yeah, no
So what you're
care
saying-
whatsoever.
So what you're saying is they're young enough where they're like, what I don't see what the big deal is, but all the adults are standing around watching them and going, I wish I was doing that.
What they're saying is, no, don't do that.
I'm so
I wish
jealous.
I could be doing that.
Oh my gosh. I'm just like watching these kids and I'm like, what are you like?
How hard is the stream? I mean,
Dude. This thing, if they're not standing over it, it's shooting like 20 feet into the air. Like,
I'm kind of surprised you didn't see a kid knock over. You know, like
yeah, it's got a little bit of oomph behind it. If you know what I
that's
mean.
pretty good.
oh man,
That's pretty good.
I'm sitting there looking at this kid going, you don't need to take a bath for a week. Like, it's just cleaning everything, if you know what I mean. It's like,
Who needs suppositories?
gosh.
You got a splash pad.
Maybe that's why they should go suppository park.
It's just the most unsettling thing when you're, I don't know, dude. It made me incredibly uncomfortable.
Where are the parents when this is happening? They're not
Watching.
Oh, they're just right there standing next to him being like, oh, it's so fun, isn't it? Oh. Like,
See? They want to be doing it too.
they're living vicariously through their children in that moment.
Yeah, in that moment.
Go stand over the big one, Johnny.
Frick. So yeah, that was
that's fun,
that
Rob.
was my weekend. It was incredibly uncomfortable, but today I was scouring the web and I happened across an article, Josh, that as soon as I read the headline made me think of you.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is from I believe it's pronounced Otago or Otago Daily Times. And I think this might be like a UK. It might be a UK newspaper. I'm not sure. The dateline is Wednesday, August 21st. Let me try that again. Wednesday, August 21st, 2019. And the headline reads as follows. Threat to kill alleged over $10,000 flat earth bet. So, let me just read this. Basically, somebody threatened to kill somebody over a bet on whether the earth was flat for $10,000.
Okay.
Okay. So let me read this to you. It says, a $10,000 bet between two Queenstown men over whether the earth is flat or round resulted in one being charged with threatening to kill the other. Jamie Sutherland, age 36. And then it says car groomer, which I don't know what that means. Is that a fancy way of being like, I wash cars for a living?
I don't know if that's fancy. Like, I don't think it's fancy.
Whoever says I'm going to take my car to the groomer.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude, you're definitely not like. Wait, is this like the dog van from Dumb and Dumber?
That's what I was just thinking.
There it is. There it is. He's driving Mutt's cuts. So Jamie Sutherland, car groomer of Frankton, denied threatening to kill Louis Lands in Queenstown on February 14th, Valentine's Day. I think that sets the stage for. I think this is really a lovers' quarrel that they're too afraid to admit. They're wishing they could quit each other. It gets better. An incident which resulted from a dinner the pair had a couple of months earlier, during which the bet was made. So, Jamie and Louie having dinner on Valentine's Day, and they make a bet. And then somebody tries to kill the other one. It says, giving evidence in the Queenstown District Court before Judge whoever, Mr. Lands, a tennis instructor. So you have car groomer, tennis instructor.
Dude.
Does the plot thicken, Drew? Is that what you're thinking right now? The plot is thickening?
So weird.
Yeah. Extremely.
It said the pair had known each other since primary school, and over dinner in Queenstown, he spoke about the flat earth because I believe it's flat. That's in quotes. I said, I will bet you $10,000 that it's flat. Mr. Sutherland, the car groomer, quickly jumped on that bet. We shook hands, and then he said, you owe me $10,000. Mr. Lands, tennis instructor, then told Sutherland he would have to pay up, which the defendant disagreed with, believing the earth was round. So you got one guy who's like, the earth is flat, the earth is round, you owe me money. Sometime later, the pair encountered each other at a it says petrol station.
That's
which
what they
makes me
call
think
it
this
in
must be
Europe.
UK.
Yeah.
Wait, so
petrol.
they were friends before. They're having
Yes.
dinner on Valentine's.
They've been
No.
friends, it says,
No,
since
no.
primary school.
Lovers.
Yeah, friends into lovers.
We're reading between the lines.
And they make a bet, and as soon as they shake, the one guy says, you owe me 10 grand.
Exactly. I would dare to say that they are enemies because they were taught to be, allies because they have to be, and brothers because they dare to be. And you'll have to go to Patreon if you want to know the context of that. Anyways. It says sometime later they met up at a gas station, and the one guy who believed the earth was round was like, "You owe me my money." And then it says he was starting to make threats in order for me to pay up. I believe I've won. I think I'm right. All this kind of stuff.
I believe I've won. I think I'm right. You owe me $10,000.
So the car groomer is
99% of the world agrees with me.
That's right. The car groomer is saying it was kind of a joke. It was more of like I bet you 10,000 because I'm so sure I'm right. I told him many times it was a joke bet. The way I said it was in a joking manner. He just didn't take it that way. So it says, on Valentine's Day, the pair met up again at the petrol station. Sutherland approached Lands and became more, it says in quotes, more forceful in his demand for the money. In quotes, if you don't pay, I'll get a crossbow. I will shoot you and your father and put you in the trunk, and they'll never see you again.
Oh my God.
You and your father?
Yeah. Yes. I'm going to kill you and your family. Yes. Yes, indeed.
With a crossbow.
Remember
to
compensate for the curvature of the earth when you shoot that crossbow. Just saying.
He says that with the benefit of hindsight, he did not believe that he had any intention of following through the threat, but at the time he was shocked and unsure if he meant it, so he told his father. And then it says in quotes, when someone threatens to kill you with a crossbow, it's quite concerning. Is that the most European thing you've ever heard in your life? Oh my gosh.
It's quite concerning.
It's quite concerning.
Well, let's back this up a little bit. What can people kill other people with in Europe nowadays? They took all the guns away. I think they still have knives. A crossbow actually makes sense. That is probably the biggest threat that they have now. So
Bombs, trucks.
Oh, that is kind of the weapon of choice now, huh? Trucks.
Tennis rackets.
Trucks, tennis rackets.
VHS copies of Enemy Mine.
Mud
He's just going to make him sit down and watch that movie.
That's how we'll slowly kill you.
That's right.
Forcing you to watch Enemy Mine over and over and over again.
So it says that Mr. Lands, so the guy who got threatened, that he nor his father wanted the matter to go through court, believing that Sutherland had learned his lesson. And then in quotes, I hope he's doing better and we can all just move on. So it says defense counsel. So the lawyer said that the guy was adamant about his worldview and expressed widely on social media that he was correct. He referred to a post Mr. Lands made in July saying that the Earth was a spheroid, water-filled, round body. And then he posted a GIF saying how ridiculous the idea of a floating ball of water is. Josh, do you care to chime in?
I don't know why we keep having this discussion and debate. I mean, for me, it's settled. So, but no $10,000 bets here, guys.
No, how could any of us ever prove that?
Exactly. Either way. I just want to commend this individual for his bravery. To state his beliefs and still put up with some piece of crap threatening to take his life over a belief.
No, it's probably about the money.
I thought Europe was supposed to be so much more advanced than us. Doesn't sound that way.
I don't feel like a car groomer is going to have $10,000.
I don't think a tennis instructor is going to have $10,000. Sounds like they both need to find better bets to make with better individuals. That might be a bet I would take up with Bill Gates. I know he has $10,000.
Yeah, but
although he might end my life over $10,000.
Oh, for sure.
So the lawyer chimes in and he's talking about he's basically saying that, there's all these things that are happening in the world. There's shootings, people posting manifestos online, all this. It says, in the real world, your statements have consequences. as opposed to the fringe world that you live in on the internet, where there are no consequences and you can say whatever you want. You had this bet with Mr. Sutherland, the tennis instructor. You bet the earth was flat. He believes he won. He wants his money.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But this story does have a happy ending. It says that ultimately, after a short restorative justice meeting between the two this morning, Judge Farnan, who was the preceding judge, found that there was no case to answer and dismissed the charge. Sutherland, the tennis instructor, apologized to Mr. Lands, the car groomer who believes the earth is flat, for any comments that he made and made it clear he accepted that he would not be receiving any money. So there you go.
Oh my gosh. Everyone's time was wasted in this.
Tax dollars at work.
You know, that's why that's the only reason I'd want to be a judge or a magistrate.
To hear stuff like
Just
that.
to hear what comes into the courtroom, dude. That would be wow.
Josh, why does the flat earth feel so divisive? Why can't it be something that unites us?
You know, it's the classic.
Why do crossbows
capitalism
have to be
versus
involved?
Socialism argument, man. You know, it's just two ends of a different spectrum. And they just can't get along. You know, they just can't get along.
Just
It's
diametric.
the way it is. You know, I mean, when people have been indoctrinated all their lives through school and been told to believe one thing that 99% of people believe, when 1% stands up and says no, nay, you are actually wrong. People can't handle that kind of truth, man. They can't handle that kind of truth. And it's the world we live in.
It's the flat world we live in.
It's the flat world we live on. It's the flat world we live on.
There you go.
A plane,
right, Josh.
if you will.
A plane.
A flat with a firmament above plane. And if you don't believe that, I'll shoot you with a crossbow. Josh, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I ran into a celebrity today.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. It was insane. Like,
Were you in Chowchilla?
totally in Chowchilla. This was like super cool. So after work today, I had to meet one of my peers who was on the way back from south of Fresno, because he had to give me like some work packets that I have to fill out and stuff and keep with me. And anyway, we meet at the Starbucks here in Chowchilla, right? So that he can hand me these work packets and everything that I need for work. And we just start talking and catching up and seeing what's going on and discussing things that need to be addressed and taken care of and that type of thing. Anyway, we talk outside the parking lot for like 15 minutes, right? And after we're done, he was like, well, I'm going to go in and get a drink. Do you want one? And I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds good. So we walk into Starbucks and we start heading to the counter, and off to the right-hand side, sitting in a booth all by herself, was Cristina Davies from ABC 30 Action News.
Oh, my gosh. Local news personality? Is that what you're talking about?
Never would have known.
Oh, my gosh. Did you ask for an autograph?
I'm getting there.
Oh, my God. I can't wait.
So, Amy and I, the only channel that we ever watch on TV, if we're not streaming Hulu, we're not streaming Netflix, and we're not watching a movie from like our own Apple collection, the only channel our TV is ever on is ABC 30. Like, that's what we watch in the morning, news, weather, all of it. So, like, we know almost every person on that channel by name. Like, we know who they are. We know,
They might as well be your best friends.
Sure.
Is that what you told her today? No, we might as well be best friends.
Oh, that's so
Cristina.
good.
Anyway, so she's just talking on the phone, like while she's in there, right at the table, and I nudged my buddy who's like 25 years older than me, and I was like, "Hey, dude, check it out! It's Cristina Davies," and he was like, "Who?" I was like,
Great.
I was like, Cristina Davies, ABC 30, Action News, like, okay. That was his response, right? So we go up to the counter, we order our drinks. We come back around where, they hand the drinks, right? And they call out our names and give us our drinks and stuff. And as we're walking away, the counter to the door is like 15 feet. Rob knows. He used to work there. We worked there together a long time ago.
I've also been in that building.
Oh, you have? Okay. I just figured you hated Starbucks. So anyway, so we're walking away and I get like 2 feet away from the door and I turn around and just...
Oh, no.
in front of like, I would say 5 workers and like 8 people that are like sitting there drinking their drinks. I turn around and say, "Bye, Cristina. Have a good time."
Oh my gosh. You might as well say, "Bye, Cristina Davies from ABC 30."
And she's got this like petrified look on her face. Like, what the crap just happened, right? That like half smile, half this is really awkward type of thing. And I just walk out the door.
Just let it hang.
And, yeah. And my buddy who's with me, he's like, you sound like you know her. Do you know her? And I was like, nope, not one bit. he just laughs. He's just like, that's good. So as we walk away, right? So I get home and I tell Amy the story. I tell her what actually happened. She starts laughing and she was like, I'm so glad I wasn't there with you. That was like her first comment. I would have been so embarrassed just being right there with you. Like if you had done that, I'm so glad you were with him. Like when you did that. So it was really funny. It was just, on some level, these people probably love like being recognized because they're on TV. So it's a huge ego stroke.
Yeah.
But they probably get recognized so seldom.
Yeah.
That they don't know how to handle it when it happens, right?
Even Kobe, who's been in the game for his whole life.
Yeah, like what, 80 years now? Kobe Soteropoulos from Fox 26.
Yeah, I ran into him while I was
Don't
petitioning.
even get me started on Kobe, dude.
That dude pissed me off.
Kobe Soteropoulos.
I ran into him while we were petitioning in Fresno. And I was all, "Hey, Kobe, can we get a signature?" "Oh, sorry, guys. I'm not allowed to sign things." Walks over and buys boxes of cookies from the Girl Scouts. Well, you know what?
Signs the paper.
F you, Kobe.
I met that guy.
I don't like people handing me things.
If you're listening and you don't have any idea who Kobe Soteropoulos is, just imagine like a local market Regis Philbin. You know what I mean? Like if Regis Philbin was like your local news anchor in like a smaller town. Like,
That's a solid comparison right there.
I met him one time and he's walking through this room and it's like, dude, people know who you are, bro.
Don't you
But
mean
he's walking
floating? Floating?
Sort of, yes. And he's going, "Hi, I'm Kobe Soteropoulos. And he's like shaking hands. "Hi, I'm Kobe Soteropoulos. Hey, how are you? I'm Kobe Soteropoulos." I'm like, dude, really?
Seriously, man. You're not on camera. So get off camera.
My manager told me I need to say it that way.
Oh my God. I'm contractually obligated to say this like
he gets home.
40
He's like,
times
"Hi,
a day."
honey." He's like, "I'm Kobe Soteropoulos."
Eat fresh.
Okay.
Anyway.
Now, I don't want to like inundate.
I'm sorry, guys. I just didn't know what to do. I was a little starstruck. Someone that I see on TV all the time. She did the weather for a little while and, like you just recognize them. This is like the 4th ABC 30 employee I've run into, like randomly in public like this.
You should just start making up stories, dude. Like, "Oh, hey, it's me, Josh. Remember we hung out at that?"
I know, right? And see where it goes. If I hadn't been with a friend, maybe I would have actually considered that because he probably would have thought it was really awkward considering he knows I'm married.
Just say another anchor. Be like, "Yeah, so-and-so brought me to that party. Remember?
New Year's Eve, 3 years ago."
It was the network Christmas party.
She's probably be like, "I worked for Kansas City Channel 4 at that time."
I know. We talked about that.
I don't want to like inundate or give ammo, but I just decided to Google Cristina Davies, ABC 30.
Uh-huh.
And what came up was CristinaDavies.tv. So she has her own website that's sort of like her own way to brand herself.
Oh,
But it looks like it was built, like, do you remember like back in the 90s when there's like GeoCities?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So it does have a little bio here though, and just in case you guys were wondering, she enjoys in her free time water skiing and spending time with friends and family. So there you go.
Said every news personality ever.
Pretty much.
Dude, if you keep running into these people, you need to find out those details. That way, when you
like,
see
hey,
them, what kind of ski?
Hey, I heard you like I heard you like spending time with friends and family. Me too. Oh my gosh.
That would be so good, dude.
Oh my God. That's so ridiculous.
Oh, that's great.
That's hilarious, dude.
Anyway, so yeah, that was kind of like, my week.
You know what you should do? You know what would be the ultimate, Josh? You need to start
I already
carrying...
am the ultimate Josh.
I know, but this would take you to the next echelon of Joshness. You need to start carrying around one water ski in your car. So the next time you see her, you can walk up and say, oh my gosh, Cristina Davies, will you sign my water ski? And if she refuses, say, fine, will you sign my friends and family?
That would be great. That's hilarious. Okay.
Dang it, dude.
So I finally found
you
this CristinaDavies.tv. Oh man.
Are you getting those vibes? Like those good GeoCities, like
yeah.
Angel Fire vibes?
Yeah, that's like the worst like hosting ever. Time to update that.
Christina, if you're listening, because
know
we
what
probably
Cristina Davies
hashtagged
looks
you.
like?
I just looked
Oh,
it up.
okay.
I never
Yeah.
would have. No.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say. Christina, if you are listening, because we probably hashtagged and even like tagged you on Twitter, if you made it this far, just spend the $200 and hire a web designer. Somebody can hook you up. This is really bad. Oh man.
Or I mean, maybe even another skier might be able to help you with that.
Oh my gosh.
Spend $50 and hire a skier to help you build.
Wait, there's a login. There's like a login thing. Oh, it's for the hosting. Okay, never mind. We're not gonna try to. I'm not gonna hack this. Anyways,
Yeah. So
I thought I was gonna be able to build a profile on CristinaDavies.tv, but I guess I can't.
I thought Josh was going to tell us a story about him running into a celebrity, but I guess he's not.
Oh man! What if she's listening?
I think I made up for it by telling the story. Andrew ruined it by dissing the story. So it might be okay.
Dude, because of you, at least 40 people are probably going to Google her name. So she's going to see an influx of
hits.
Yeah.
Wow, where did this come from?
Here's what I'm going to say. She obviously came on staff after I moved away from the Valley, so I've never seen her on the air. But just from this little bit we've been talking about her, I already like her much better than Kopi Soteropoulos, and that's saying something. So congratulations to you, Cristina Davies. You can tell Kopi to go eat it.
I think a lot of people have been telling Kopi to go eat it for a while.
Right? And he'll probably say hopa and then actually eat it. Anyways.
So, awesome. Anyway, yeah, outside of that, man, all the standard stuff. By the way, I'm building an outdoor bathroom to my house.
Speaking of segues, that was
legit.
So good.
Speaking of Cristina Davies.
No, Kopi Soteropoulos.
Oh, nice.
Come on, dude, keep up.
They call it the Kopi Soteropoulos.
Speaking of Kopi Soteropoulos, I was taking a dump the other day. That's so messed up.
Gotta go drop a Kopi.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna get a black vinyl sticker made of that for you to slap onto your toilet.
Did you ever see that movie, Adam Sandler's movie, Just Go With It?
Yes.
No.
Jennifer Aniston.
The Devlin.
Yeah. Gotta take a Devlin.
Gotta take a copy.
I got tired of hearing my kids saying poop and crap. So one day I named it from my best friend from college. I called it Taking a Devlin. And they liked it. And it stuck. I'm going to do that to my kids, dude. I'm going to be like, go take a copy.
It's gonna be so weird, dude. When he shows up at their school, my dad tells us to take a copy.
So messed up.
That'd be funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway. So all good
There you
things. All good things.
All good things. Oh my God.
Not for Kopi.
Yeah. Yeah. He's kind of on the can, isn't he?
Good old Copes.
There you go. Maybe we'll change it up. We'll call it Taking a Copes.
That's awesome. Oh,
Anyway.
Drusif.
right on. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Drew Seffer.
So I had a.
I feel like he's getting ready to tell us about his sweaty balls.
No. So I have been like compiling for a while, like a list of things that my wife says to me that are intended to be nice things, but the way that it's worded, it's a total burn, dude.
You're still there, huh?
Oh yeah. It just happened again last night, and that's what made me think about it again.
It's so nice when it's innocent. Wait until year 10 after it becomes intentional. You stop keeping track.
So here's 3 things that I remembered to write down. So I'll start with a couple weeks ago. We're laying down, and she's like laying on my arm, and she's laying there, and she's like, oh, I could fall asleep here. And I know what she's meaning when she's going to say this, because she's like trying to give me a compliment about going to the gym and stuff. And she goes, I could fall asleep here. Your arms feel like pillows.
What every man wants to hear.
So I just kind of sat there for a second, and I was like, thanks.
See, in year 10, that's, yeah, I'm going to fall asleep here. Your arms feel like pillows.
So I was like, oh, that's cool. And she was like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. And I'm like, no, yeah, I get it. So then so we've been watching this show, 90 Day Fiance. You know, we talked about it last time.
Right.
So on that show, it's a lot of older Americans and then younger foreigners.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the age gaps between some of these people. Some of them, it's like 25, 30 years. And so we were talking about another couple, and we were talking about how one of these people was old for the other person. Then she looks at me and she goes, you're old for me, but it works.
Oh my God. Dude, she's on fire right now.
Yeah. And then she gave me that same kind of look, like, that's not what I meant. I'm
Just
like,
wait until your testosterone level sinks.
Your wife is like very tweetable right now. It's so good.
dude, so this was like
20 years from now, you're old for me, but it works.
so this one was like the biggest burn, dude. This one was a few months ago.
These are great, dude. Just changing the tone of these, like, implies so much differently.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. And so we shower. We take showers a lot to
Okay.
Save water.
Sure.
So
It's a great.
Green initiative.
That was a great way to just throw that in
it's
there.
One,
Man.
it's one I can hop on board with.
So
Not you guys. I mean,
So, as, guys who have kids, sometimes it can be tough to find the adult time, right? So sometimes you have to strategize a little bit.
Oh, my gosh.
I found
Where
one
is this
strategy that
going?
works for me. Get out! Get out now! Slam.
So it's one of those moments where it's like, let's just make this fast, And so afterwards, I was kind of like, wow, that was pretty long for supposed to be a fast time. So I make the comment, I'm like, how was that for quick? And she goes, yeah, could have been longer.
Oh, my gosh.
And then I just kind of put my head down. She's like, that's not what I meant. I'm like, okay.
That's awesome.
Could have been
my gosh.
longer. Oh.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about yourself lately, Drew?
Great, dude. It's honestly, I love because she gets so like, I know that she's not intending to say them like that. So it just cracks me up, dude, when she gives me like the coy burn, like very.
Yeah.
The innocent, unintended burn.
Yeah, dude, like you just completely knocked me down unintentionally when you were trying to build me up.
Again, tone is what sets the
dude.
stage.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
And year 10, that tone is completely different.
I'll be on the lookout.
That's so awesome.
So, yeah, dude. So, all right. So this other thing that I found today that I read, which I thought was pretty funny. This is on Politics and Society, WSU Insider. Selfie versus posy. If you lose sleep over the number of likes on your Instagram account, you might want to think twice before posting that selfie. That's the main takeaway from a new study in the Journal of Research and Personality by Washington State University of Psychologists. Tax money goes to that.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Baby.
The
$3 at work.
Yeah. The scientists conducted a novel experiment with hundreds of actual Instagram users to determine if there are certain types of self-image posts that cause others to make snap judgments about the user's personality. Their work shows that individuals who post a lot of selfies are almost uniformly viewed as less likable, less successful, more insecure, and less open to new experiences than individuals who share a greater number of posed photos taken by someone else. Basically, selfie versus posy.
Interesting.
Even when two feeds had similar content, such as depictions of achievement or travel, feelings about the person who posted selfies were negative, and feelings about the person who posted posies were positive. Posies were positive. Say that a lot.
That is the
Say
new
that
tongue twister
one
of the
time.
day. Yeah. Posted posies of it.
So it says it shows there are certain visual cues independent of context that elicit either a positive or negative response in social media. So, are you guys selfie people?
No.
No.
Really, Josh?
Wait, Josh, you're not? That's surprising to me.
I'm
So-
barely a posy person.
When you're reading this and you go back on your social media, are there any people that pop out in your mind where it's like everything is a selfie?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure, dude.
Do you ever like those photos?
No. No way.
I don't either, dude.
Absolutely not.
And I never
Absolutely
knew
not.
that until I read this article. And I'm like, you know what? That's true. I do look at those people that way.
It's funny. You guys are talking about that. I barely have social media. The times I do look at something, see something posted or whatever, the only question that goes through my mind is like, I hate both. I'm like, why are you posting that? At all. No one cares.
He's like, you're only providing more information for the facial recognition algorithm.
You're just commenting on stuff. You've been on Instagram for 6 years. 0 posts I like.
Step up your game.
Has anyone seen my Instagram account? In 2 years that I've had an Instagram account, I've posted 2 photos. One was of Irish coffees, and the other one was of a dinner I posted
That's right.
that I made.
I remember the Irish coffees one because I commented on that.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, nice coffee.
And those were 2 years ago.
Actually, I'll show you that. Josh posted out. Oh no, that's the wrong. He posted 2 Irish coffees, and my comment was, "Did you have to get up for this, or did Matt bring it to bed for you?"
That was 60 episodes ago.
That's why Josh doesn't post stuff on social media.
I don't care. Dude, when I saw that comment come in, I was laughing.
Oh yeah,
I laughed so hard. Like, that didn't stop it. I just really quickly realized how much I hated myself.
Do I delete it or do I leave it up?
I just left it up. I didn't want to put the effort in taking it down.
Oh man, that's awesome.
You know what you should do? You should just post selfies of other people.
Why would I do something like that?
I don't know. It just sounded good in my head.
What else sounds good in your head, Rob?
You don't want to know.
So enough with the selfies.
Enough with the posies. Get offline. Get offline.
Well, okay, but let me show you what they're talking about with a pose. So there's the 2 examples. It's not like a pose like you're thinking. That's just a guy standing in an electronics store.
I see.
Possibly behind the counter.
I see 2 douchebags.
What's this?
Find the difference between this photo and this photo. Both douchebags.
Fair enough.
Just get offline, Leslie.
There you go. All right. Well, Phyllis, man, it feels like it flew by, at least for me anyways. But it's time to head over to that great time that we all look forward to. Voted by internet poll, voted as the top podcast segment, probably of all iTunes, is what it looks like. I'm still waiting for all the results to come in. But yeah, of course, I'm talking about, let's talk about what we've learned. Number 1. I think that we've all learned that when someone threatens you with a crossbow, it's quite concerning. So there you go. That's just good knowledge to have. It's quite concerning.
I feel like it was knowledge that I already had.
There's that. And also, the build up to this segment was way better than your number 1.
You're welcome. Number 2. I think Cristina Davies is a national treasure, and she better sign Josh's water ski next time. Or at least one of his kids.
I wonder what would happen if I asked her to sign my wakeboard.
Dude, what if you did ask her to sign like your son's forehead? Like just right here. It's cool.
You just push him towards her and say,
Yeah, never.
you just push him towards her and say, prove it. And then number 3, I think we've learned that Drew's wife has resolved to just roast him constantly, and that's his life now. So we can't wait to hear what's next. It's going to be just constant. It's so good. Hey, as always, thank you guys so much for listening and supporting the show. Make sure wherever you get your podcast, you subscribe and leave us a review. And until next time, I'm
Drew Carroll.
Rob Lambert. There you go. No wonder she roasts you. You just ruined the show, Drew.
And I'm getting offline.